What's going on, guys? This is Kip here. Today is Tuesday, February 27th. It's almost 5 o'clock p.m. And in this video, I just want to make a quick video for you guys talking about Bitcoin private. This is going to be the newest hard fork of actually Bitcoin and ZClassic. So Bitcoin and ZClassic, they're going to be both forking into Bitcoin private. This is the first fork that I'm going to go through where it's actually two chains forking into one. But the way that I look at these forks is if I can safely take advantage of these and get my free coins with zero risk to what I'm already holding, and then eventually hopefully turn these free coins into free money down the road, then I'll absolutely do it. Why wouldn't I? And there is ways that you can take advantage of these forks at absolutely zero risk to you. And that's what we're going to be doing with Bitcoin private, just like we did with Litecoin Cash. Right now, Litecoin Cash, it's kind of difficult to sell it. You can sell it on one exchange, Yobit, where it's at the higher price. You can't sell it right now. You can't deposit. But I mean, the fork just happened not that long ago, so we'll take some time, and eventually down the road, even if we can sell it at 50 cents a coin, $1 a coin, $5 a coin, whatever it is, that's free money. And who doesn't want free money when it's zero risk to you? So that's what we're going to be doing again with Bitcoin private. And this fork is actually going to happen in 19 hours and 18 minutes. Most forks, they happen on a certain block, so they'll tell you, when this chain reaches this certain block, the fork will happen. But this fork is actually a little bit different. They're doing it at a certain time, not a certain block. So they're doing it February 28th at 5 o'clock p.m. UTC time. If you guys are unsure what time zone you're in or when that is, just watch the countdown timer and it will go from your time zone. So right now it's just over 19 hours away from the fork. And how we're going to take advantage of this fork with absolutely zero risk is the same exact thing that we did for Litecoin Cash. We're going to set up a temporary Exodus wallet. That's one of the easiest wallets that you can set up to actually access your private keys and export your private keys. And just so you guys know, this fork, you will be given a 1-to-1 ratio. So whatever you hold in Bitcoin, you'll be given that amount of Bitcoin private. So if you hold 10 Bitcoins and you move them to your temporary Exodus and they're there during the fork, then you will be given 10 Bitcoin private. But as I said, it's also forking with ZClassic, and it's the same ratio. So however many ZClassic you guys hold, you'll get the equal amount of Bitcoin private. So if you hold 10 ZClassic, you will get 10 Bitcoin private after the fork. And if you guys want to do this the most risk-free way, do it with coins that you're already holding. So if you're already holding Bitcoin, there's zero risk for you to transfer it over to a temporary Exodus, wait for the fork, and then transfer your Bitcoin back out and export your private keys and get these free Bitcoin privates. And also the same thing if you're holding ZClassic. If you are holding ZClassic, you want to hold it in a wallet that actually gives you access to your private keys, which would be an Electrum wallet. I'll show you guys how to download that. But what you're going to want to do if you're already holding Bitcoin or already holding ZClassic is just go ahead and move those over to a temporary wallet where you're comfortable exporting your private keys after the fork. And then after the fork happens, we're going to send out our Bitcoin or our ZClassic, and then we will export our private keys to claim our free Bitcoin private. So like I said, the safest, easiest way to do this is set up a temporary Exodus wallet. If you guys don't have Exodus, the website is exodus.io. This is where you would go to download your temporary Exodus wallet. And like I said, if you have ZClassic already on an exchange, maybe something like that, you're just going to want to go to the ZClassic website, which is zclassic.org, or you can go to the Bitcoin private website, which is btcprivate.org. And if you're on the Bitcoin private website, you're just going to want to scroll down into the frequently asked questions. And then you're going to want to see where can I store my ZClassic to ensure I get my Bitcoin private. And you're just going to click right here where it says ZClassic Electrum Wallet. And the same thing on ZClassic's website. You're just going to want to scroll down until you see the Electrum downloads right here. and then you're just going to want to click download for Windows, Linux, or Mac, and then you're going to find your operating system, download for that. I already downloaded my Electrum wallet because I am holding a few ZClassic, and then I already went ahead and set up my temporary Exodus. And how I do that is I actually create another user on my computer. So I would just go to my system preferences, and then I would go to users, and I would create a temporary user, and then sign into that user, go to the exodus.io website, and then download whichever version of Exodus that I need, Windows, Mac, or Linux. But I've already done that. I've already sent over all of my Bitcoin to my Exodus, my temporary Exodus on my other user. I'm just not going to switch over because I would have to stop the video, restart it, yada yada. So now that my Bitcoin is in my temporary Exodus, I have to do nothing other than wait for the fork. And then after the fork successfully happens, actually I'm not even going to say fork, I'm going to say the snapshot. Because what they do is they take a snapshot of both blockchains at exactly this time, and whatever Bitcoins and ZClassics are held in wallets, they have a snapshot of that, and then they're going to fork the coin 2 days later. So you just need your coins in the correct wallet for this snapshot, which is going to happen in 19 hours and 12 minutes. And then you can send your coins out of this temporary wallet that we set up after the snapshot happens. And then 2 days later, approximately 2 days later, the fork and the mainnet launch is going to happen. So we'll actually receive the coins, and the fork will officially happen 2 days after the snapshot. And like I said, to receive your free Bitcoin private, you just need to have your Bitcoin or your ZClassic in these wallets for the snapshot, which is just over 19 hours away. So if you guys are going the Exodus route to hold your Bitcoin, just download Exodus, temporary wallet, send over your Bitcoin, back it up, keep your seed phrase, and then I'll make a video after the snapshot happens and when the fork happens on how to export your private keys and claim your free Bitcoin private. But that's all you have to do, zero risk. And if you guys are holding ZClassic, like I said, just download the Electrum wallet. It's super fast to download. It took me about 5 minutes to sync. I don't even think a full 5 minutes. It was really, really fast. And then you guys can see that I actually already sent over a total of 57 ZClassics. So I mean, both of these ways are super risk-free. We're going to send these funds out of these wallets before we export our private keys after the fork to actually claim our Bitcoin private. So there's no risk to you guys, but this is just what I'm doing. I'm going to throw it out there. This adds more risk, but you guys can do this if you want. I mean, it's really up to you. You need to decide for yourself. I'm just telling you what I'm doing is, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my Exodus wallet, and I'm like, okay, I get a free Bitcoin private for every Bitcoin that I own. And then on the same hand, we get a free Bitcoin private for every ZClassic that we own. And right now, ZClassic is trading at $96. So in my mind, I'm like, why don't I take one of my Bitcoins? And like I said, everybody's holding a different amount of everything. So this is up to you how much you want to risk of your total bankroll of Bitcoin. But what I said was I'm going to take one full Bitcoin, and then I'm going to send it into Bittrex where I can actually buy ZClassic. And I'm going to exchange one full Bitcoin for ZClassic. Rather than holding one Bitcoin and getting one Bitcoin private, I can actually buy over 100 ZClassics and get over 100 Bitcoin private. And like I said, this way you are running a risk, because let's say you go to Bittrex. This is one of the exchanges where you can currently buy ZClassic. So let's say you go to Bittrex, you deposit some of your Bitcoin, and you're going to try to, kind of work the system and get more for your money. And you're going to trade your one Bitcoin that you would get one Bitcoin private of into ZClassic, where you can get way more Bitcoin private for the same amount of money. So let's say you exchange into ZClassic, and then you need to hold it for a day for the snapshot. You need to hold it for about just over 19 hours. And then you can send your ZClassic back into Bittrex and exchange it back into your Bitcoin. So that way you just got way more Bitcoin private for free than you would have from one Bitcoin because you had a bunch of ZClassic. Now, the risk that we take doing this is when you exchange your Bitcoin into ZClassic to get more free Bitcoin private, then you have to hold it for basically a day where you can send your ZClassic back in, exchange it back into your Bitcoin. But what if ZClassic price dumps and by the time you're selling it back into Bitcoin, it's lost 20%? I mean, that is the risk you're taking. But on the same hand, you're getting way more Bitcoin private. And if Bitcoin private does take off, I'm hearing rumors that it's going to be trading in between $100 and $200 right off the bat. I mean, I've heard rumors it's going to go all the way up to $1,000. I mean, nobody knows. You never know. You can't go by rumors or what people are saying. But if it is trading at $100, you'll make up that 20% loss on selling the Bitcoin private that you get because you got way more Bitcoin private by doing it this way. But like I said, this is entirely up to you guys. This is just what I'm doing. You guys can see I already bought a half a Bitcoin's worth of ZClassic a little while ago. I bought 57 ZClassic, and then I'm gonna buy, I already have another buy order in. I'm hoping it's coming down a little bit in price. I have another buy order in for another half a Bitcoin. So this is one full Bitcoin that I deposited in Bittrex, and rather than getting one Bitcoin private, doing it this way, I'll have over 110 Bitcoin private because I'll be holding over 110 ZClassic. So like I said, if you guys want to play it totally safe, you're already holding Bitcoin, just move your Bitcoin into Exodus. That way you're not taking any risks with your money. I don't want to see anybody follow this lead that I'm doing and end up losing money. I'm willing to risk my money, but I don't want you guys to risk your money unless you fully understand what you're doing and you know the risk that you're taking. But this is what I did, and if you guys want to do this, it's totally up to you. But like I said, if you want to play it totally safe, just move your Bitcoin over into your temporary Exodus, and for all the Bitcoin that you have, you'll be given the equal ratio of Bitcoin private. If you're holding ZClassic, go download the Electrum wallet, send your ZClassic over to your Electrum wallet, hold it in there till after the snapshot, and you'll get the equal amount of free Bitcoin private for however much ZClassic you were holding. And then there's zero risk. You're not exchanging. You're not trying to, exchange your Bitcoin into ZClassic to get more, then change it real quick back the next day into Bitcoin, and you end up losing money. But if you guys do want to take a risk and do try to get more for your money, you can do that too. It's entirely up to you. Do what you're comfortable with. But when the fork and when the snapshot does happen, and then the fork comes up 2 days later, I will make another video showing you guys exactly how to export your private keys and claim your free Bitcoin private. But just remember, if you want to do this, you need to have your coins in these wallets before this timer hits 0. So within the next 19 hours. But that's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you later.